Aries, Ashe, Obatula, Ashe, Nila Hotep, Ashe, Anu, Ashe, Ptah, Ashe, Apollo, Ashe, Da, Ashe, Zaka, Ashe, Shango, Ashe, Makali, Ashe.
I'm like the superstar on YouTube now, and also I got a whole new audience, a whole new audience and stuff. And I remember one brother called me 2 years ago and said, "I'm gonna put you on YouTube," and all. So one other brother called and said, "You sure you want to do all that?" I said, "Well, they already got me on there." Yeah. Nigga said, "You gonna put me on after a year having me on?" I said, "Well, maybe." I said, "Well, the spirit want that to happen and stuff." So what it was is it was introducing me to a whole new crew of people. I've been lecturing for be 17 years in June. June 29th or something like that, or June 27th. It'll be 17 years since since 92 in June. But what the deal is, this done brought a whole nother crew of people. You see, and so plus we recap, and a lot of people have a lot of questions that they have, and a lot of times what happens here is by the time the question and answer period comes, they be done forgot them if they don't write them down and stuff like that. So what we do now is we'll start off with a question, and we'll start off with a couple of questions and stuff, and then we'll jump into it. You see what I'm saying? Now, if it's, yeah, I know. So we're gonna bring the sister on.
Greetings, everybody.
Greetings.
Thank you for coming out to hear.
Give her your name.
Okay, I'm Kamara Rajabari, and I am the caretaker here at the Zara Center, and I want to welcome you to the Zara Center. Our plans are to have this be a wellness center, and Sister Mama Ya is going to speak a little bit more in detail during the break about the plans for the property. But in the meantime, we're happy to have Brother Bobby here to pass along his knowledge and to have you all share in this moment. So we're going to have food being served, and we'll probably ask about that during the break, and I think during the break she's going to explain more about that and just talk about all the plans and everything like that. But I wanted to officially welcome you all here and welcome Brother Bobby.
Okay, now what's the center again? We want to get
Zara Center.
Zara.
Yes.
After Zara Dale? I mean, it could be, because that may be spiritual.
Yes.
The reason why I'm saying that about Zara Banda, that's the Apollo, but the reason why I'm saying about Zara Neale Hurston, she rose back up last year around this time.
Wow.
And I'll go into some of that, so that's spiritual. So I know it means something else, but it's just how things, synchronicity.
Yes, it is. As far as I know, it is in honor of a sister that Mama Ya used to know. So
there you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
And what we want to do is let people know that we cooking with gas. Before that sun stops, I want you to pan that lake. So they say, "Oh, you don't know a fancy little." No, we election, and right in the back of us is a big old lake. They call it the Niski Lake. We are on Niski Lake. What is it? Trail. So I wanted to pan that lake when he get a chance. Probably during the break or something. Yeah. Probably during the break or something. I wanted to pan the lake. And should I slide this over a little bit then too? Yeah. Yeah. And so what happened is to let you know, we done upgraded and stuff. Now we get it where we can get it. We get it where we can get it. Now I want to say, I'm gonna see if I can pull this over a little bit. Good. Yeah, because we got to. Want to say we good. We good. This brother, Spurgeon is he's a filmmaker. The brother that's just doing right now. So we got an actual filmmaker. What was the name of the documentary you did with Taffeta?
It was called Broke, Struggling, and Still Independent.
Broke, Struggling, and Still Independent. Anybody seen that documentary? It was about a group of songwriters and musicians, some sisters, right? About 3 sisters? Four sisters, and they were trying to get into the music industry, and some were successful, and then some, so it was just very, very interesting. You can hit him up and find out how to get that piece, but we also want to you don't want to put your number on here right quick. I mean, let me say your number or something for these people to get it. I know you're going to add that all in. but for the people here, because you never know, man. Like I said, you might need him for something. You know what I'm saying? Small documentaries, types of shoots, or any type of thing. So we need to know the professional people that we got access to. You see what I'm saying? And help the brother out. Like I said, he's rising up. But we do have a filmmaker here, and so he's gonna do all the editing and all this kind of stuff also. So we want to say that. I also want to say that this is I think this is going on 3 years now since I've been in Atlanta. Since I lectured in Atlanta. Last 2 lectures I did in Atlanta was at my house. One reason why I stopped lecturing in Atlanta because I couldn't get my honorarium, which is what I charge all over the place. Now I lecture at least once a month in all the other cities. It's just that a king is without honor in his own home. So I guess they had years for having me for, passing the hat or either, little $300 or whatever type thing here and stuff, So I was like, well, hell, I can't get my honorarium and stuff. And then what started happening was, we got the brother Dean here who did some of the lectures in the early 2000s, and we just thug-like people, man. We'd come in and we'd do the lecture, then the people would go up on the rent the next time because the turnout was good. At first we do anything, almost give you the building because they want business. You know what I'm saying? And they figure it's just going to be a little mediocre thing and they can just put a couple of them together and make whatever they're going to do. But what happened here is, tell them, that takes, so they don't have to be quiet. That takes up real big, So we trying to be professional now, like NBC and shit, HBO because I curse, so. But anyway, what the deal here is, and so they would have us to come out with the buildings, and this happened about 3 times, and we do an event and all the people come out, then they was like, oh, we can make money off this. The next time they would go up. Okay, we paid that, and the next time they just got ridiculous. I mean, that was it called A-Hop or something at the time?
Yeah, A-Hop.
Man, they went up one month. We came back the next month. They just went like, well, dog, we're going to pay you all the money just to have the thing. We're not going to make nothing. So, and it's just that thug type mentality type thing that's going down. We do that to each other. You see, everybody's, nobody has no integrity no more when it comes to each other, when it comes to black folks. Everybody just, just trying to get, And the same thing happened, okay, I was supposed to do one, because we're going to honor C. Freeman L. I should have got another picture of him, but I got one we'll put in the insert. Another picture, we'll put in the insert. And Brother C. Freeman L. passed last March of 08. So I did a eulogy for him in New York, and I did one in Detroit. And I said, well, I really need to do one. We have a private eulogy for him here, but I said, no, we really needed to do one on film for Atlanta because this is where he taught. And so at the Soul Edge, the brother Kevin brought in Delbert Blair. He was supposed to bring in Delbert Blair one month. He was supposed to bring in Phil Valentine the next month. And then I was supposed to come in July and do the eulogy as well as lecture for Brother C. Freeman L. Well, here goes again. They brought in Delbert Blair. The people there, they looked around, they saw what was going on. These are a lot of younger brothers now, that damn Generation X. You see what I'm saying? Type cats, with the bling bling and all that, even though they supposed to be Hebrew Israelites and stuff. So what happened was, they saw what was going on, so the next time they raised the rent on the brother, so he couldn't bring Valentine, and of course that canceled me out. So now we just not getting to do the eulogy, getting ready to recognize Brother C. Freeman L. a year later. You see what I'm saying? A year later. So, but the thing about it is, like I said, so by him being back in Atlanta, we want to deal with the brother C. Freeman L. Now C. Freeman L., his drink of choice was Old English, 800. Now I went to go get the 40, but I said, wait a minute, hold on. C. Freeman L. was like 70 something when he died, so the 40 ounce would not be his era. And he did drink out of the can. But when I went in the store, I said, I'm going to get that 40 ounce. I'm thinking like, another generation. I said, I'm going to get that 40 ounce. And when I went in there and I looked at the 40, I said, no, that ain't C. Freeman L. Now, he ain't, I said, that's, I said, that started with me back in college, niggas get them 40s and stuff like that, and then it passed on down to the generation that's ruling now. But I said, no, see, Freeman was like, I guess he was about like 70, 71 or something. And so I said, well, and I knew he used to drink out of the can and stuff, out of the can. So some people said, well, is that spiritual? Go get the movie Forbidden Kingdom. That was a movie with Jackie Chan. And they was getting ready to go to a certain level, and he said, no, I can't go to that realm. He said, why? He said, because I'm immortal, and the liquor ain't in that realm. The alcohol ain't in that realm, so I can't roll on that realm. You see what I'm saying? And that's why when you see any of the deities, you got to have the alcohol with them. You see what I'm saying? You got to have the alcohol. It's called espiritus. So where the alcohol don't flow, the deities ain't going to be around. You see, ain't going to be around. So it's just interesting here. So he had gotten his immortal drink on even before he left the planet with the old English 800 now, and I realized something about it because it's very spiritual. Number one, he wore the fez, and the fez was burgundy, and so you got the gold. They got a book called The Golden Trade of the Moors, and the fez was burgundy, but the Moors actually entered into Europe in the late 800s on into the 700s. Old English 800. So now we understand that you know, Britain and the whole European thing got their entire underpinning or structure from the Moors. You know, the coat of arms, you see the coat of arms, those are the Moorish things, the Moorish coat of arms. You see what I'm saying? So he was rolling with his drink of choice long before, but it was always something spiritual in there. But always something spiritual. Now the thing about C. Freeman was this. This is when you know you got a true master rolling. And also I want to show you this because they got these debates that's going on in the next week or so in New York. This is the god Vishnu and Shiva. When there's a god Shiva in India and Vishnu, but when they merge together, they become Hari Hara. And Hari Hara wears the fez. This is the first origin of the fez. Now, you know the fez, we know the origin of it in the modern day would come from around Turkey. But then again, all of that was Moorish territory, but Turkey and all of that is connected with the whole region that used to be a part of ancient India, all of that particular area. So they're connected. So the fez, the origin of the fez, comes from the god Hari Hara. The god Hari Hara. And I'm like, I show another one. I think I got another one. Another one down here. Where there's the god Vishnu on the walls. Here it is. The god Vishnu on the walls of India. Now I should have got a better color copy. But right here he's wearing the fez. This is the sleeping Vishnu. Vishnu goes to sleep in the summer months and wakes up in the fall. Wakes up in the fall. We'll go into some of that particular science. But going back, he wears the fez. Now the thing about what made C. Freeman a true master was this. He would say things. And he would say things, and probably those things he said you really wouldn't recognize. You wouldn't think much of it. You wouldn't think nothing, and then it would come to pass later on. It was certain things, you know. And so I'll give you an example. Right now, we got a lot of conscious people that started studying the conspiracy. And as a result, they then got trapped in the conspiracy. You're trapped in the conspiracy. So put your phone on buzz or whatever you call it, whatever, pulsator, whatever. You know. So they get trapped in the conspiracy. And they become paranoid. And what happens here is they start studying only the ruling class. I don't want to say powers that be, because they on the way out of power. They only study the ruling class agenda. You see what I'm saying? So everything is what they're going to do next and what they're going to do now. The Illuminati going to do this, the Illuminati going to do that. And they study the ruling class agenda. And what it does is it takes you out of even striving to even understand what your agenda is. Right. So a lot of people tell you all the stuff that's going on with the conspiracy and the paranoia. That's right. But when you ask them, well, what's your agenda? That's right. They don't know. Because their agenda is studying when we go into, you know, it's like the King Alfred plan. You know, we go about the concentration camps. We come to find out that the government put that stuff out in the 80s. The Rex 84. They got it from an actual book. It was a book at first that some guy wrote. And then so this idea is pretty good. And so the Rex 84. But the key here is if you, in mind control, if you put out an agenda that you go into the concentration camp, you see what I'm saying? You don't even have to lock them up. You don't have to give them to a for the simple fact that there's a threat of a concentration camp means that they can contain you and they don't never have to put you in a concentration camp. You see? And so as a result, this conspiracy has been going on for the last, the Rex 84 one came out in 1984. You see, 1984. What's that, about 24 years? Going on 25 years. We got it in the late 90s, like 1989, when Khalid Muhammad and other people started discussing the King Alfred plan. But the thing about it here, I did a lecture in Chicago last year, and they were like, when you talk about the concentration, we're not going to no damn concentration camp. And you know, the people was actually upset that I told them they wasn't going to the concentration camps. And I said, they done made a mindless slave out of you, and I give you some good news, you're upset because you want the bad news. I'm like, come on, man, get the hell up out of here. I used to speak on the concentration camps in the 90s until I realized, hey, this is some bull. You see what I'm saying? Come back to C. Freeman. I was saying something about some conspiracy about 11 years ago, because in 2008, no, in 98, we had our office down at Starbucks at the Equitable Building downtown. There's a Woodrow Park. Across the street is the Equitable Building, and they had a Starbucks down there. So we was to go down there and sit down and just, you know, kick around ideas and all kind of stuff like that. And I mentioned something about a conspiracy one time, and he said, hey man, why even worry about some shit that you can't do nothing about? You don't even know the people, that's the conspirators. So that's burning up energy. Why worry, you know, he used to say things like that. Why worry about stuff that you can't do nothing about? And I was like, man, you know, at first I was like, well, you know, we're speaking this general information, but it came true. For the simple fact we locked in this whole conspiracy thing. And he would say several things like that. He would say several things like that and all, and those things would come true. So I find myself often saying, well, you know, C. Freeman said that. But at the time, that's how the true master is. It's the same thing if you go, when you see Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. No, not Return of the Jedi, The Empire Strikes Back. He told him he's supposed to go see Yoda, the Jedi Master. And when he got there, Yoda was a little old runt, living in a shithole eating stew. And he treated him with a heavy hand. Until he realized, you see what I'm saying? So until he realized that the master ain't gonna come with all the flowing gold and all the type of stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? It could be the drunken master. That's what the whole thing happened with Jackie Chan. You see what I'm saying? And all. So the master always appears, you see what I'm saying, in unconventional ways. You see, and it's interesting. So when they say certain things, you might not catch it, or you might have to grow into it. You know, might have to grow into it. So he was a true master in the sense, and so if you can access Brother C. Freeman's works, so we're gonna spit to him. I don't want to pull on these people's rug or nothing like that. Mess around. Stuff gets smelling like barley and stuff. But we're going to spit to C. Freeman. Yeah. We're going to spit to C. Freeman. I guess that was him hollering out. That's how spirits work. You be interested. They say, you know, you be eating some potato chips and the bag will fall out your hand or some will fall on the floor. That's the spirits wanting that. You see what I'm saying? That's the spirits wanting that. And all, you know. And the spirits they're not as sophisticated. They're like children. You see what I'm saying? Because that's the innocence. That's once you leave the physical body and you get out of this ego, you go back to that innocence aspect. You see what I'm saying? So that's the key to spirituality, is to be more like a child. So you have to get rid of a whole lot of pride and different things like that, you know. It's like me, you saw me when I got out of college, I wouldn't have dared stood before you over 200 and something pounds. You see what I'm saying? I had too much vanity for that. You see what I'm saying? And stuff like that, you know. But my point here is, the spirit world works in a certain way. We're going to go into all of that today. We're going to go into all of that today. But we're going to poke to see Freeman with his drink of choice, with his drink of choice, and then we're going to spit some rum to the master over the graveyard, Baron Samedi. This is Baron Samedi, and we'll go into some of that. This is Baron Samedi, which is interesting. Baron Samedi was a project that was put together recently by the Skull and Bones. Now the Skull and Bones is a secret society out of Yale or what have you. So they decided, well, hey, we need the real deal. So, you know, they said not stuff we make up, but we need to get the indigenous stuff. So when they blew the levees in Katrina and the bodies started stacking up, because remember now, Katrina didn't hit, basically New Orleans weathered Katrina. It hit Mississippi and Alabama, but New Orleans was fine until they blew the levees. But they started marking these X marks on all the doors. And they was marking these X to this particular deity, Baron Samedi. Baron Samedi. And so as a result, trying to usurp the power by trying to appease him. He's a deity that wears the top hat. That's why I have on the top hat. We'll go into what these all symbols mean. The gray one represents marriage. And so that had to come into play. Right after the inauguration. Show you the magical part on stuff that's happening. The stuff that's happening. But this is the traditional one of Baron Samedi, which is the top hat and the skeleton with the snakes. Top hat, the skeleton with the snakes, the feather in the hat. He has a cross on, and this particular one was done in 2000 by a lady that's dead now. I think it's a white lady that did this in 2000, and she's dead now. But under the bottom it says Baron Samedi, the deity of resurrection. Now let me go into some of the science on that. Is this? So she did this particular poster. This poster. Now you can somehow, I don't know how much you have to go to New Orleans, they have to find the poster, but you can also download this color one off of the internet also. I got the black and white one for sale. Now this one here is rare. This one is rare. I had to go and search in some other stuff to get this one, as far as this particular one here. And yeah. This is the other poster of Baron Samedi. Now, the word Samedi means Saturday, which is also after Saturn. And Saturn, you see, and I will go into some other science in a few minutes, but anyway, they tried to usurp this power by marking all of the dead bodies, or the houses with the dead, contain the dead bodies. They marked the houses with that to feed Baron Samedi those spirits. And as a result, it woke Baron Samedi up, which is a plus for us, because it's our ancestral energy. You see, you trace him back to Africa, he was Babaluaye, which you know Desi Arnaz sings at the club Babalu. That's Babaluaye in Africa. You see, Babaluaye in Africa. So if you trace it back if you trace it back there, that's who that is. But as it comes through Haiti, he becomes Baron Samedi, and he really flourished when he comes to New Orleans. When he comes to New Orleans, that's when the top hat comes. Why? The top hat was number one. The top hat at a particular time in this particular deity, the energy was being conceived, the perception of him. At that particular time, the slaves looked at Abraham Lincoln as the great emancipator. And at that particular time, Abraham Lincoln wore the top hat. You see. So as a result, they put together this particular deity because the top hat was also fashionable at the particular time. During the particular time of the 1800s when they put this together. You see what I'm saying? And they had different eras of the particular top hat. Now the mystery here is, this is one picture of him. Now if you get the movie Living Let Die, the guy Jeffrey Holder plays Baron Samedi, the skeleton deity in the movie Living Let Die, 1972. You see what I'm saying? Which was Roger Moore's first stint at the whole James Bond thing. You see, and so as a result, which is this particular the movie poster, Live and Let Die, which right here is Baron Samedi, which is the death card, which is the tarot card is death, which is new beginning. And also, this is the first time the first black Bond girl was Gloria Hinder, that later on played with Jim Kelly and Black Belt Jones, and also in Black Caesar. Popular at that time in the so-called black exploitation type thing. So, well, she was the first black love interest when they tried to spice things up. But it was set in New York and set in New Orleans. Set in New Orleans. But all this is just interesting around Baron Samedi. Around Baron Samedi. So you can still get this. They just re-released this again, this movie again on DVD. Digitally enhanced and all that type of stuff. But Jeffrey Holder plays him in the actual movie. Now the key here is that and so as a result, so even all that sacrifice went to Baron Samedi. So when he rose up in June and July of the past year, 08, very powerful force and a very powerful ally. But it's interesting here because they talk about it in alchemy that in the last days, there will be a skeleton figure that will rise up. A skeleton figure. And it was talking about this tarot card, if I can find it, called Death. It's documented in a DVD called Secrets of Alchemy by Jay Weidner. We got a lot of good information today. A lot of good information today. But I wanted to see if I had the tarot card. I just saw it earlier. But we'll go back to it. But anyway, so to go on, they talk about a skeleton figure that would arise. Now, let's take this back to ancient Kemet. You have the god Osiris in most of dynastic Kemet, and then you have later on a god called Osironophus. That is a Coptic form of Osiris. That's in the later day Egyptian. When the Coptics came, it's later day Kemet, or later day Egypt, and it's a god called Osironophus. And then Osironophus is later on changed by what you would either call the Hebrew or what we call the Akhenaten's crew. You see what I'm saying? That's where we can trace the origin of that. Is the Osironophus is changed to Sabbath. So it's Osiris, or Osar, Osironophus, and then the god Sabbath, where you get the Sabbath from. Saturday, ruled by Saturn. And then Sabbath, you see, in the modern world, is Baron Samedi, Saturday, Saturn. You see, or Saturn Chronos is a god called Chronos in the Greek thing, or what we call Phoenician, which is Father Time. So they say this Chronos figure will come around again. That's this whole Mayan cycle and all this type of stuff, and everybody is looking and stuff, but it's coming up out of us and our DNA. So as a result of them, it was going to happen anyway, but they just upped it a little bit by doing the little ritual, trying to get Baron Samedi for them. They woke this particular energy up. Now Baron Samedi is equal, he rules over the graveyard. Over the graveyard. He's equally ruled by this deity. This is another representation. This is an older representation of the goddess called Mammon Brigitte. Now Mammon Brigitte rules equally with Baron Samedi. You can get all that in this particular, this is a good little book on the voodoo visions. I think it's, all the good ones are out of print, but you go online and get this. And this is interesting here because you want to deal with Brigitte, and this is her color is purple. Purple or lavender. That's why we got the purple top hat. And one of her emblems is the black rose. Is the black rose. Is the black rose. Now, the gray hat also represents marriage, which is very key when you're dealing with the whole inauguration that went on. Now we got to explain this Obama thing because people are taking it off the wrong path.
That's right.
And they're getting disappointed and stuff like that, but then again, they're looking at this the wrong way, and we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But we're going to go to a quick question and answer. But this is interesting here because on page, let me see if I think it's say page 170 or one something. It's interesting why you want to deal with Brigitte. Let me get my glasses and let's see if I can find this thing. The reason why you want to deal with Brigitte, and I think this is a great interest to black people. Well, the first thing that happens here is the first person you meet, they say when you die, certain people come to the funeral that you didn't think was going to come. Certain people that you thought was going to come don't show up. Then you die, and they put you in the dirt. Several things started happening, and after all of the business clears out in a couple of days, then the first person you see is Brigitte comes. And she comes to take you to the other side. The goddess Brigitte. It's interesting about Brigitte, because Brigitte is also found in Ireland. Very interesting here on this whole Irish thing. As we go on, we got a lot of other stuff. So Brigitte is found in Ireland. Another thing is, oh, that's some geese out there? Oh man, well that's spiritual. That's spiritual. We'll take that. Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, we so used to the asphalt jungle until nature shocks us.